What happens when the monster you've been running from is no longer behind you, but inside you? The claws, the growls, the chaos, it's not chasing you. It is you. And then there's them. The ones who once trembled at your struggles, whispered about your battles, and painted you as a monster. They forget, don't they? They forget the weight you carried, the darkness you endured. But you, why do you still fear the dark? The very darkness that shaped you, hardened you, and made you unbreakable. What is the monster? It's not some grotesque creature lurking in the shadows. It's your fears, your regrets, the scars you hide from the world. It's every failure that whispers, you're not enough, and every inner demon that drags you back when you try to rise. This monster isn't an enemy, it's the weight of your existence, molded by pain, loss, and struggle. Society has a way of creating these monsters for you. They see your pain and label you with it. Weak, broken, a problem to avoid. They point fingers and whisper, there's the monster, while turning their backs on the humanity underneath. To them, your struggles are an inconvenience, something to judge or dismiss, never to understand. And then they forget the monster. They move on, leaving you with the chaos they helped create. They abandon you, betray you, and misunderstand the battle you're forced to fight alone. While their lives go on, you're left in the wreckage, grappling with the chaos that was never truly yours to begin with. This is the cruel truth: they fear the monster, but they forget the person behind it. What is the dark? It's not just the absence of light. It's the unknown, the place where your deepest struggles reside. It's the loneliness that creeps in when no one is watching, the pain that settles in your bones when the world abandons you. The dark is where you confront your fears, your deepest insecurities, and the things you wish you could forget. It's where the monsters hide, but also where they are born. Why fear it? Fear is a learned response to the unknown. From the moment we're born, we're taught to fear what we don't understand. We fear the dark because we can't see what's waiting there, and that makes us feel powerless. But what if I told you the dark is not your enemy? What if the dark is a mirror, reflecting your strength, your resilience, and your will to survive? The dark doesn't destroy you, it reveals who you truly are. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself that are buried, to face the pain that's been pushed aside. It doesn't break you, it remakes you. When you stop fearing the dark, you stop fearing yourself. The shadows no longer control you, you control them. And in that control, you find your true power. The monster doesn't go away just because you choose to ignore it. It's time to face it. You must look at yourself in the mirror and accept the flaws, the mistakes, and the scars from your past. Every wrong turn, every misstep, every piece of you that feels broken, it all made you who you are. The monster you fear is not separate from you, it's a part of you. Instead of running, stand your ground. Confront what haunts you. The fear, the regret, the pain. It doesn't control you unless you let it. When you stop running, when you stop pretending to be someone else, you'll see the truth: you are stronger than the monster. It is not your enemy, but your test. Face it and let it shape you into something unrecognizable, something untouchable. The dark is not a prison, it's a place of transformation. You don't need to hide from it. Learn to use it as a shield, a tool that helps you discover your true self. The dark teaches you what the light never can: the depth of your own power. Pain is not your curse, it's your forge. Every time you've been knocked down, every time you've been broken, the darkness has shaped you, honed you into a weapon. You are not weaker for it, you are stronger. The fire of your struggles refines you, sharpens you into something that can cut through anything in your path. When you stop seeing pain as something to avoid, you start seeing it as a tool. The darkness is where your power is born. It is not your enemy, it is your ally. They forget the monster, it's true, isn't it? Once you're no longer visible, once you no longer serve a purpose to them, they forget. They forget your struggles, your pain, the battles you fought alone. When you're no longer useful, when you're no longer part of their world, they stop seeing you. They forget how hard it was to get where you are, how many times you fell and had to get back up. They forget the monster they feared because it no longer affects them. And why? Because they fear what they don't understand. They don't want to confront your darkness because it reflects something they're too afraid to face in themselves. So they label you, dismiss you, and pretend you're no longer a threat. They turn their backs and continue with their lives as if your struggles were never real. But this is the truth: they forget you not because you've disappeared, but because you no longer serve their comfort. Being forgotten isn't a weakness, it's a gift. It gives you the space to rebuild in silence, away from the judgment, away from the prying eyes that never understood you. In their absence, you can grow, evolve, and become something even they won't recognize. You have the power to rise without limits, because their dismissal means they've stopped holding you down. When they forget, you gain the freedom to become everything they never thought you could be. You are no longer defined by their expectations or their labels. Their fear, their inability to understand you, is the very thing that frees you. You can now rise with the power of your own truth, unburdened by their opinions. And when you do rise, they'll remember. But it'll be too late. It's time to stop running from the monster and start becoming it. Take the fear they once had of you and turn it into your strength. They saw your scars, your darkness, and they trembled. But now, those very scars are your armor, your proof that you survived. They aren't signs of defeat, they are the battle marks of someone who has faced the worst and lived to tell the tale. Own your darkness. Own every part of yourself they were too afraid to understand. Your pain is not a weakness, it's a weapon. The very thing they feared can now become your power. You are not just surviving, you are transforming, becoming everything they never wanted you to be. You're no longer a victim of the monster. You are the monster. Mastery over the dark is where your true power lies. Operate in silence, in the shadows, where no one can see your next move. Don't let them predict your every step. Let them underestimate you, because when they least expect it, you'll strike. The darkness is your greatest ally. It is where your strength is forged and where you grow unseen. Fear isn't something to avoid, it's something to control. When you master your fear, you make yourself unstoppable. You don't have to announce your strength to the world. Your actions, when the time comes, will speak louder than any words ever could. And by then, they won't know what hit them. You are no longer their victim. You are their nightmare. The monster they once feared, the one they labeled and tried to escape, is no longer just a shadow in the corner of your mind. It's your strength. Your pain has been transmuted into power. Your silence is now a weapon, and you are no longer at the mercy of others. Where they saw weakness, you now see fuel. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment of pain has been transformed into the foundation of your strength. You are no longer defined by your struggles. You are defined by how you rose from them. The monster they feared, it's you, and you're unstoppable. Walk in the shadows with confidence. The dark is not a place to hide, it's where you thrive. You no longer cower from what once terrified you. You own it. The darkness doesn't make you small, it makes you powerful. In the shadows, you grow stronger, sharper, more strategic. You don't need to be seen to be powerful. You are already a force to be reckoned with, moving in silence, calculating every move. The dark is not something to escape. It is your element. It's where you can breathe, think, and plan. The world may fear the dark, but for you, it's where your strength blooms. It's where the real you rises. And when you step out of it, they won't recognize you. They'll only fear what you've become. Let them forget you. Let them move on. But don't fear the dark, become it. The monster they feared is no longer in the shadows, it's standing tall, ready to conquer. Remember, monsters don't fade, they evolve. Darkness doesn't destroy, it creates. And so can you. Embrace your power. Step into your greatness.